Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show with notifications turned on so you automatically get the notification that we've put out a new episode. All right. Today is...
All right, that's about enough of him. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of January, and I am Scooter, your producer today. I will be conducting this ride. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this wonderful, beautiful, soon-to-be very icy, snowy Thursday afternoon. That's right, I'm taking over the Doom Daily Show. Jester is otherwise occupied. Perhaps he is tied up in his new co-host's basement. You never know. All right, so you know the drill. doomdaily@gmail.com, jestersvoice.com. Be sure to check out the website. Be sure to give Jester his one IRL for the week. Yes, I did have to look that up when he started talking about it in real life because I'm Scooter, and as Jester has alluded to, I'm old. I'm sometimes a little grumpy, and that's just the way it is. But today, you're going to get me for the Doom Daily Show. Now, just to let you guys know, I'm not on a homestead. I am at Casa de Scooter. It is somewhat of a secure location. I'm hunkered down in the G-Spot Studios where it's very toasty, nice and warm. And I am recording this lovely show, and it should be a hoot. I'm not digging in the dirt because I've done all that in my younger days. I am not manhandling excavators. And to be truthful with you, I wish I was out on my John Deere because I do have one. And I think those are probably some of the best tractors, best farm equipment, the best devices that are out there on the market for lawn and garden care. I am a John Deere fan, unlike Jester, who is not a John Deere fan. I will say that with one caveat. I'm a John Deere fan from the equipment made earlier. Not this new plastic crap that drives itself, that you steer it and it makes you a latte and whatever else it may come with. But the actual older equipment that you can work on, that you can fix, you can customize to your liking and enjoyment. So there it is. I'm a John Deere fan. Shoot me. Then if you want to feedback and tell Jester how I'm doing, please do so at doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Send him an email. Say, look, Scooter sucks. Don't ever let him on the mic again. Or conversely, say, Scooter is delightful and a wonderful change from you, Jester. Can we have him on more? Just let him know. So anyway, it's Thursday. The snow hasn't started falling here, but I just want to give you a quick weather update, because it looks like about 150 million people are going to be affected by Canada dumping the Arctic air on the south. It's going to affect, I think I heard, around 30 states. Checking in with the beautiful folks over there at AccuWeather.com, it looks like we're going to be receiving some kind of winter precipitation from Maryland, Washington, D.C., into Virginia and West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, parts of Georgia, parts of Alabama, pretty much all of Tennessee, into Mississippi and Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. And they're calling for snow totals in my part of the world, here in beautiful green country, Oklahoma. They're calling for snow totals from 11 to 13 inches. I'm going to be amazed if we get that much. I don't put a lot of stock into meteorology and weather forecasting because they don't ever seem to get it right. And that is a sore point for me. I mean, these people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're calling themselves meteorologists and doctors of meteorology and everything. And yet they can't predict when it's going to rain, when it's going to be sunny, and when the snow's going to fall, or the path of a hurricane. It never really works out for them. And they prove it time and time again. But anyway, if you're out there today, make sure you hunker down, get your supplies for the upcoming Snowmageddon. It should be interesting this time around. And join me in putting some wood in the fireplace and lighting up that fire and toasting some marshmallows. And while the electricity's on, take in your favorite movie or show and then just enjoy watching the snowfall. Because that's what we're going to be doing here at Casa de Scooter. All right, so the bottom line is everybody stay safe out there. Make sure you have enough milk and bread and toilet paper because those are the most important things to have on hand whenever there's a possibility that you may be snowed in for at least 24 hours, maybe 36 hours, or at least that's the way it is here in the state of Oklahoma. Anytime they forecast snow, then everybody runs out to the local grocery stores and they clean out the bread and they clean out the milk and they clean out the toilet paper. And I still don't know why that occurs, but it's always fun to watch. Go through it every year when they call for snow. Funny thing is, in the state of Oklahoma, and I hope this is the way it occurs, I hope we get some beautiful snowfall. I hope there's some accumulation. Kids are able to go out and sled, which is always a fun time. And we get to see a lot of snowmen in front yards or snow women or snow sculptures because I always love looking at those things. But typically the way it happens in Oklahoma is usually 24 hours later, snow's gone. Doesn't stick around. So everybody winds up throwing out moldy bread about 2 weeks after the fact, after they went and bought all of it and the spoiled milk that goes along with it. So just be careful out there. Keep your eyes on the weather radar. Listen to the radio station, or check out some interesting folks over on YouTube and TikTok who give you on-the-minute weather updates, which I find fascinating. And just be safe. Now, the crux of why we're here today and the things that I want to talk about that Jester, who cares what he wants to talk about? But I've got a couple of things I want to go over. Number one, I want to talk about the state of Virginia. They just had an election in 2026. They elected a new governor. They elected a new attorney general. And there's some big changes coming to the state. I'm going to get into that in a little bit later. Also, I want to talk about something that I know that's near and dear to Jester's heart, drugs. And if you listened to yesterday's show, you heard a personal perspective from Jester about drugs, about people using drugs. And I have some interesting facts that I want to go over about drugs. But before we get to that, we're going to take a little break. And as Jester always says, Scooter, go ahead and hit that button.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. Linktree.com/JesterDooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Welcome back, everybody. I am still Producer Scooter, and you're still listening to the Doom Daily Show, usually put on by Jester Dooms. And I want to take this moment to let you know Jester is actually celebrating his beautiful wife's birthday. This is her birthday week, month, whatever it is. And I just want to take an opportunity and wish Stylist, Mischief, whatever name she may be going by today, happy birthday. You look good for 22. I think you're amazing, and I don't know how you put up with Jester. But anyway, before the break, I was giving you a little insight about what we're going to talk about. And first thing on the blocks today is the state of Virginia. All I've got to say, you folks who live in Virginia, you're screwed. Now, if you remember, back earlier this year, they had an election, and they elected a new governor. The outgoing governor, Governor Glenn Youngkin, Republican, conservative, did a lot of great things for the state of Virginia. And then for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but they elected a Democrat governor. On January 17th of 2026, Abigail Spanberger was sworn in as the first woman elected to the Commonwealth of Virginia's highest office. She became the governor that day, and she was quick to make changes because I guess the people in Virginia do not like prosperity, and they do not like being safe, and they do not like their children being safe and healthy. So Abigail Spanberger started writing executive orders. And the other side of this coin is that the Virginia legislature is now controlled by the Democrats as well. So it looks like they're going to be able to enact all of these crazy ideas. And let me just share with you some of those crazy things that they're going to be doing. So first off, it's they're going to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, that's been a debate that's been going on for a long time. The other thing that they're going to do is they're going to remove mandatory minimum sentences. So when a criminal is convicted in court, there's not going to be a mandatory minimum sentence in the state of Virginia. Now, that doesn't have to do with federal. That just has to do with state court. So if you get popped for robbing somebody, or I don't know, murdering or raping or carjacking somebody, and you're booked on a state charge, and the state of Virginia decides to prosecute you, if you get convicted, you won't have to worry about a minimum sentence requirement. So they could just arbitrarily give you 2 weeks or 5 days. She's going to lower the criminal penalties for robbery. She's going to ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. So ICE is not going to be able to take custody of illegal aliens if they are in a courthouse. She is also going to prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm on land less than 5 acres. Now, here's some of the fun stuff that she's going to impose, and I'm pretty sure that this is not going to fly if it ever gets litigated up to the Supreme Court. She's placing a $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors. So if you go out to buy that new silencer to put on your weapon so you can go plinking without making too much noise, you're going to have to pay a $500 sales tax. She's going to ban assault weapons, and I'm not sure what kind of a weapon is an assault weapon, because if you think about it, all weapons are assault weapons. They're all meant to do damage and assault something. The crazy thing is, assault is defined as a violent physical attack. So if you physically attack a beer bottle, a deer, a turkey, that's assault. So every weapon is an assault weapon. But she's going to ban them. Let's see if that flies. That'll be fun to follow. Now, here's one of the really fun things that she's going to do. Governor Spanberger is going to end cooperation with ICE. Does anybody geographically know where Virginia is located? I'm just curious if you could pick it out on a map. Over on the East Coast, yeah, kind of next to Maryland, yeah, kind of around Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, you're not too bad. Virginia is where a lot of legislators, United States representatives and senators live. Matter of fact, there's a little enclave. It's carved out. It's called Nova, Northern Virginia. A little town called Arlington. It's just right on the edge of Washington, D.C. That's where all the deep state government workers and CIA agents and congressmen and senators live. But you know what? Governor Spanberger is going to end cooperation with ICE, a federal agency of the Department of Homeland Security. Let's take a look at some of the other great things that she's doing. We're going to go back to reducing mandatory minimum sentencing. Governor Spanberger wrote an executive order making mandatory minimum sentencing a thing of the past. And we're talking about sentencing for crimes like rape, manslaughter, assaulting a law enforcement officer, possession and distribution of child pornography, and other repeat felonies, to include violent felonies. So it seems like they're going to have every criminal in the world flocking to Virginia, because that's going to be a haven where you can go, you can commit these crimes, and then, you know what, you get, time served, 30 days. Probably there's going to be a run on ankle monitors. So there's probably going to be a lot of companies that manufacture those ankle monitors moving into the Virginia area. Folks, I wonder if you could recall for me for just a second here, who are some of the notable historical figures that come from the state of Virginia? First one that comes to mind, Thomas Jefferson, the guy that wrote the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. He was from Virginia. And wait a minute. One of the founding fathers, matter of fact, the guy that led the army that helped secure our freedom from King George Washington. He's from Virginia. This is crazy how far Virginia has twisted. I don't know what else to call it. But one of the other fun things that Governor Spanberger is going to be doing is raising taxes on everybody, especially the millionaires. So this is going to be funny how this is going to go over, because, people like Eric Swalwell and live in Virginia. And a lot of the congressmen, senators live in Virginia. A lot of them have declared that their homes are in Virginia. They don't even live in the states that they represent anymore. That's a big deal that's going on with Eric Swalwell right now, because he wants to run for governor, but he doesn't even live in California. So anyway, all right, I'll quit harping about that. Now, the other fun thing about Virginia is they're going to be prioritizing DEI and government contracting. I don't know what to say about this. It's just going to be a shit show. If you live in Virginia, move. That's all there is to it. Just leave, because it's going to be turned into a clown show in a third world country, all in the span of the time that Abigail Spanberger is governor of the state of Virginia. That's about enough of that.
Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Can't get enough of Jester Dooms? Check out his other show, It's Doomsday Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. That's It's Doomsday Podcast.
Back to the show.
All right, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am still Producer Scooter, and you are still listening. So remember to check out Jester's website. That's jestersvoice.com. While you're visiting jestersvoice.com, to click on that Leave a Message button and leave Jester a little voice message. Let him know how things are going in your part of the world. Tell him something that you would like him to talk about on future Doom Daily shows. Or leave him a message for It's Doomsday Podcast. All right, so I talked about this a little bit earlier, and I told you we'd go into this. I talked about drug use, illicit drug use, illegal drugs. And if you've been listening to the Doom Daily Show for any amount of time, you've probably heard Jester talk about his feelings on drugs and shared some personal experiences with you from his life. But what I want to talk about is something unique about illegal drugs, specifically fentanyl, which seems to be the bane of our existence in the United States right now. A lot of people are overdosing on fentanyl, but A bright spot that is not really being talked about, but let me share this with you. In 2025, fentanyl overdose deaths in the U.S. have significantly declined. There's been a reported drop of over 20% during 2025 compared to previous years. Now, news media and AI want to attribute these factors for reduction to a lot of different things. Supply of fentanyl has gone down. I mean, think about it. It has. Increased public awareness. I don't think that has as much to do decreased number of fentanyl overdoses. I think it is really rooted in a couple of different things. And it has to do with immigration enforcement, closing the borders, not letting as many people across the borders unencumbered and unobstructed as we have in the previous years. Trump has done a good job in shutting down illegal immigration, closing the borders for the most part, and now we're seeing some benefits from that. Fentanyl deaths are going down, which is a good thing. Now, if we could just help out the people who are addicted to illegal drugs like fentanyl and other opioids, I think that's the next step we need to take. Interesting little tidbit about this decrease in fentanyl overdoses. It was measured across all 50 states, but they only saw the decrease in fentanyl overdoses of 20% in 49 of the 50 states. Turns out we've got one state that is doing something completely wrong, because the state of Arizona actually saw an increased number of fentanyl deaths by 18%. You got to ask yourself, why is that occurring? I don't know, because possibly the leadership in the state of Arizona really doesn't care about their citizens, and they want to let illegal aliens cross the border. They want to create a pipeline coming through Mexico to bring in all the illegal drugs and ship them across the nation. Funny thing is, the state of Arizona is run by a Democrat governor, Katie Hobbs, who is just a complete moron. If you live in Arizona, I'm sorry, you're being governed by an idiot. The Attorney General, Miss Chris Mays, is a Democrat. I don't think she wants to prosecute any of the felons that are crossing the borders and bringing the drugs in. Then you've got the wonderful senators, Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly, notably, you would probably know him as a part of the Seditious Six. Ruben Gallego has a relative, and it's actually his father, who is serving time for being a member of a cartel and for bringing drugs across the border illegally. So maybe there's some sense of why Arizona is going up in fentanyl deaths and not decreasing like the other 49 states in the union. As it pertains to the other 49 states, they list a couple of reasons, some contributing factors as to why fentanyl overdoses may be going down. First one, supply issue. A reported fentanyl drought may have contributed to the decrease in overdose deaths. This reduction in supply is believed to stem from changes in production and distribution, particularly from sources outside the United States. It does not mention anywhere that the current administration, the administration of President Donald J. Trump, is working to keep American citizens safe by stopping the flow of these illegal drugs from the point where they are manufactured, like Venezuela, Mexico, or any of those other Central or South American countries where they produce this stuff. I mean, you can go out there and you can do a quick search and see the beautiful United States military taking out what are described by Democrats as poor fishing boats who are just trying to earn a living. So the other contributing factor that I mentioned, increased prevention efforts, public health initiatives, including the distribution of naloxone, an opioid overdose reversal drug, have been expanded. These efforts aim to reduce fatalities by making life-saving medications more accessible. And they do go on to talk about, now this is just a little blurb, but I find this very fascinating, policy changes. Enhanced border security and law enforcement actions have been noted as factors that may have reduced the influx of fentanyl into the U.S. Well, what do you know? They're giving a little bit of credit to the policy changes by the administration run by Donald J. Trump. Even though all of the legislators, the Democrats, and all of the pundits are working to keep that supply of fentanyl coming into the United States, because I guess it makes for good media to talk about it, gets people to watch their shows. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, it makes my head hurt thinking about this. Couple other things noted in this information is that Louisiana and Florida are reporting decreases of over 30% in fentanyl-related deaths. So Florida and Louisiana have got something going on where they're able to combat this terrible plague on our society of illegal drug deaths. So I'm happy to see that. And I think if we continue to enforce our borders and we take immigration seriously and law enforcement is allowed to do their job, if federal agents in ICE are able to do their jobs without being accosted or assaulted, and they're able to detain and deport the violent criminals who probably have a lot to do with bringing illegal drugs into our country, then I think we should continue to see things get better. And I'm all for that, because I am not a fan of illegal drugs myself. There's a history in my family of drug abuse. So I would very much like to see this epidemic be taken care of. All right, folks, I think I've had enough of this. This is hard work. I don't know if you guys know it, but sitting down and putting your thoughts together and recording them, it is difficult to do. And I've got a lot of appreciation for what Jester is able to do on a daily basis. And just want to let him know, hey, I love Mistress and Stylist, so tell her happy birthday for me. And you're not such a bad person either, Jester. So stay tuned. You should have Jester back tomorrow, Friday, to end the week. I'm sure he's going to have some great information, hopefully some unique stories from putting the beams up on his foundation of his project at the Apocalypse Homestead. That'll be a lot of fun. But don't forget, give Jester his one IRL that he keeps begging for. Just let somebody know about It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show. And with that, I'm done. I'm going to end it here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow with something. Who knows what it'll be. Scooter, hit that button.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.